Twisters just hit theaters and I saw it last night. Did this sequel blow me away, or is it just gonna get carried off into the wind? Let's review. Yeah! What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Cinema Sermons. My name is Kevin, and I just saw Twisters last night. Twisters stars Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar-Jones and is a sequel to the 1996 film Twister, which I've loved my entire life. It came out when I was 4 years old. I've literally been I've loved this movie. It makes my top 30 list whenever I drop that. I was gonna do that on my birthday a couple years ago and just didn't get around to it. Anyway, I digress. So when they announced a sequel, I was hesitant. I was like, come on, man, just let that just be what it was. And then the trailer dropped and I was like, all right, now you got my attention a little bit. So how did this movie live up? Before I give you the review, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. It helps out the channel tremendously. Starting off with my positives, this movie does a fantastic job of capturing the essence of that first movie. Just that sense of adventure and fun and lightheartedness, but also being terrifying, with a group of really charismatic and lively characters. This movie captures all of that was in the original and brings it into this new movie and adds more to it. Obviously, the leads are fantastic. Daisy Edgar-Jones does a really good job, as well as Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell's a certified movie star, man. He's just so charismatic. He takes up the screen.
If you feel it, I said if you feel it.
And what's cool in this movie is you start off with Daisy Edgar-Jones' character, Kate, and you follow Kate, and she's got this emotional investment into these tornadoes, and you kind of get the group of Glenn Powell's team, and they're a little bit rowdy, and they seem like they seem like you're supposed to hate them, right? And it's this team versus that team. It ends up being a very much don't judge a book by its cover story, and I really like that. It was actually really well done. It ends up, you know, the people that you didn't like at the beginning, you end up liking later, and I thought that was well done. So they're both just very charming, very charismatic leads, and as well as the side characters, you like these side characters, man. They're a lot of fun. They feel like a group of friends that you'd want to hang out with, which the original did really well, and this film executes well as well. There's a lot of fun, lightheartedness, like when the teams are racing each other to get to the storm, but when the storms come, there's a few of them that are like fun and exciting, and then there's a few that are straight up downright terrifying. And what's crazy about tornadoes is they're real. It is terrifying. Sometimes the sky just gets mad and rips stuff up. That's terrifying. You know, it's not like Jason or Freddy Krueger where you're like, oh, that's not real. No, tornadoes are very real, and sometimes they just come out of nowhere and jack everything up. It's wild. So when they are there, it is terrifying because you're like, of course, you're like, man, like, I hope I never get caught in that, because it is scary. And this movie does a really good job of capturing the fear that you would be in of being in a F5 tornado. I thought the soundtrack was really good. They have a Luke Combs new song that they played in there. That was real fun. I thought they did a good job of showing, like, you know, just the modern day of YouTubers and making a living off that, which is crazy. You would have told me in 2011, like, oh, people can actually make a career off YouTube. I'd be like, no, you can't. If you're not Jenna Marbles or Ray William Johnson, no, you can't. Now it's something that I'm trying to do, because driving a truck gets old. Anyway, I just thought it was a really well done movie. It was a lot of fun. It did not take away from the original at all. It's a standalone story. There's a few references and nods to the original, but it's really a sequel in concept more than anything. But it doesn't take away from the original at all. It adds on to it. It doesn't try to steal from it. It doesn't take its own thunder. It's its own thing while respecting where it came from. And I thought it did that really well. The CGI was pretty good. The way they show the storms is, you know, it looked pretty real and actually gets you thinking, like, man, these are real things. Like, and it does a good job of making you feel small, you know? And then for me as a Christian, I'm like, man, there's a God that created all this. Like, how powerful is he? This cosmic, you know, eternal being that controls this, and you know, the wind and waves obey Jesus. Like, that was crazy to me just watching it, and the fact that they could use the CGI to make me think that means that it was pretty well done. So kudos to the special effects team, because I liked it, man. It was cool. Being in the storm was fun. Getting into my negatives, the only real negative I have about this is there's a lot of suspension of disbelief, right? It's a big, fun, dumb summer blockbuster, and it knows that. So there's a lot of things where if you're trying to take this movie seriously, you're probably not gonna have fun, right? when Glenn Powell's truck digs into the ground and is able to stand there in a tornado and they're shooting off fireworks in a tornado. It looked awesome. It's super cool. I'm like, yeah! But it's probably not realistic. So a couple things like that. There's a good amount of science mumbo jumbo that I don't know. I have no idea if it's real or not. If you're trying to take this movie seriously and like, well, that's not realistic and that's not realistic, you're not gonna have fun. So there is a level of suspension of disbelief where there's a few things where you're like, okay, that's complete BS and that wouldn't happen. But other than that, man, I really don't have any negatives. This was a good movie. So all in all, man, I'm giving Twisters a 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed this movie. Now, like I said, if you're looking for peak cinema, that's not gonna be it. If you're looking to have a good time at the movies, enjoy a great summer blockbuster that captures a nostalgic feel from, you know, just funner time, in my opinion, in the 90s, go ahead and watch Twister, man. You're gonna really enjoy this movie. Let me know down below, do you prefer Twisters or the original Twister? I wanna know what you guys think. I'm in the middle of my 1980s ranking series, and a lot of people have been asking me to do the 90s after. Let me know if you wanna see that, because if we do, you will absolutely see Twister on my top 10 of 1996. So hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and remember, I love you, Jesus loves you. That's our story, and we're sticking to it. See you guys.